There's kids, ready for this? My friend, his wife, is a school teacher. She works at a school that had to install a litter box in the girls' room because there is a girl who's a furry.
Much is said about all the awful ways liberals supposedly look down their noses and sneer at those outside their coalition, but I have long held that no one thinks less of these folks than the political and media elites they look up to and trust. At least 20 Republican politicians, including Lauren Boebert at the federal level, have cited stories of schools providing litter boxes for students to go to the bathroom in, but as I'm sure you've guessed, it's a made-up story. It didn't happen. We heard plenty of conversation about how misinformation or disinformation costs Democrats votes, but it costs Republicans votes too, and it seems increasingly difficult for them to thread the needle between their voters who are addicted to the made-up stuff and the potential voters who are turned off by it. You know, the generation that was enamored with the bootstrapping fairy tales peddled by Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon? Some of them were successful at instilling that same individualism fetish in their kids, and like them, those kids, who are now adults, are offended by few things more than the idea that government could be a competent enterprise for the betterment of society, and they are chomping at the bit to vote for those who are kin to their cause. But the only thing that offends them more than the idea of good government is being treated like they're dumb. Being treated like they are smart is the very font of the sense of superiority that gives them the arrogance to have that posture towards the idea of good government to begin with. Why do you think local news is almost solely programmed to convince suburban folks that their slice of their cul-de-sac is the one true American dream? And why do you think those folks are essentially the only segment of our generation still watching the local news? And they've been getting their fix: inflation, gas prices, crime in whichever major city is closest to them. All the reasons why government is still a failed enterprise and why they've been right all along. But just as they're ready to vote for the Republicans telling them that they'll get government out of their way and let them and their cul-de-sac thrive, free from the responsibility that comes with acknowledging the duty one might have to those pesky nuisances called other people that also live in the United States, Republicans start popping off about kids using litter boxes at school or some other dumb, obviously fabricated nonsense, leaving them only the people deluded enough to believe it or eager enough for it to be true because they too just want to feel superior to someone, anyone, even if they're made-up teenagers.